President Biden says he now supports getting rid of the Senate's filibuster rule in order to pass legislation that would overhaul the nation's voting laws. But some members of the president's own party may stand in the way of changing Senate rules. During his speech in Georgia yesterday, President Biden called on senators to act on the issue of voting rights.
Each one of the members of the Senate is going to be judged by history on where they stood before the vote and where they stood after the vote. There's no escape. So let's get back to work.
So here to discuss more on this is Derrick Johnson. He's the president and CEO of the NAACP. Thank you so much for joining us, Derrick. So first off, your reaction to the president's speech. Did you hear what you wanted to hear from him?
Well, the tone was correct. The energy was great, but we're looking for an outcome. This is something that many of us hoped for 6 months ago, a year ago. But as we are here now, we must pass voting right protections. And it's not a partisan issue. It's not only Senator Manchin and Sinema, and they must step up in this moment, but it's all the Republicans as well. This is about our democracy. This is about protecting the rights of voters.
Yeah, I hear it in your voice. You know, the tone was correct. It's almost sort of like a check mark. Yep, good speech, but now where's the action to go with that speech? What do you want to see this administration do?
Well, it's not for us to tell them how to do the job. It's for us to say, get the job done. This president, when he was elected, he said he's going to stand with the African-American community. There is no more urgent issue for African-Americans than protecting our rights to vote. It is the right that allows for all of the other policy opportunities to exist. And because we have delayed up until this moment, the sense of urgency is now. It cannot be a priority. It must be the priority of this administration, of Senate leadership, to deliver for our democracy voting right protections. It's not too much to ask for, but it's something that has evaded us for the past year, and we must make it happen as soon as possible.
You know, there are going to be people all across this country that are going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, when I voted in the last election, it was easier than it had ever been. I was able to mail in my vote. I was able to drop it off. I don't think people are aware of some of the changes that are happening across the country. There were a lot of changes made because of the pandemic that, you know, I think many hope would stay in place, but many of them are now being rolled back and then some. Can you talk about why voting rights are under threat right now?
But 19 states have adopted legislation that would limit access to voting, that would shorten the period of mail-in voting. In some areas, they almost eliminated mail-in voting. It would increase the wait in lines where we should be shortening the wait in lines. It would allow for legislators to overturn the will of voters once their will has been ascertained. But if state legislative bodies disagree with it, they can overturn the will of voters. There's so many things. Giving water to people standing in line for 4 or 5 hours now is illegal. These are unnecessary changes only meant to target and suppress voters in communities that voted in record numbers in the past. Our democracy is not based on the political parties shrinking the number of voters into a pool that they're comfortable with. Our democracy demands that political parties expand their platforms to attract voters. And that's how we should be governing ourselves, not what we've seen over the last year with 19 states adopting restrictive voting laws that will suppress the vote.
You know, what you said earlier about the president's speech and wanting to see action is something that was echoed by other voting rights groups, particularly particularly where he was speaking. And in fact, a number of groups chose not to be present for his speech. To sort of make that statement, I want to get your take on that. What do you think about, you know, some individuals choosing simply not to show up for the speech?
Well, first of all, you know, it underlines the frustration that many people have in terms of where we are in this moment. I don't know what groups were invited or not invited, but all of the civil rights groups were present and participated in the conversation around this issue. We have been pressing for this administration to get out of the bubble of D.C. go to the American people, begin to press in areas where we know senators have not stepped up. And the symbolism of this moment, this week, leading to MLK's celebration, is really important. This is about the legacy of this nation, the legacy of civil rights activists, the legacy that we want to lead with to show that all citizens should be entitled to equal protection under the law, and voter suppression activities should not be tolerated. We cannot out-organize. We cannot out-organize state-sanctioned voter suppression methods akin to 1950.
You know, the two sort of big pieces of voting rights legislation out there would represent, if passed, a major overhaul and firm protection when it comes to voting rights. One of our correspondents, Ed O'Keefe, compared it to the president's Build Back Better plan. The only thing with the Build Back Better plan is we know what ended up happening. The president introduced, a massive plan that would have been an overhaul in terms of infrastructure and human infrastructure, and eventually it was sort of whittled down to barely sort of a shadow of what it was before. Still some significant changes, but nowhere close to what he had introduced. So I ask you this question. Moving forward when it comes to voting rights legislation, do you want to see these two bills passed in their entirety, or could portions of those bills being passed be counted as a success?
Well, these bills have already been whittled down. Where we started from H.R. 1, H.R. 4 was much more expansive than these current bills. In fact, Freedom to Vote Act was written and primarily by Senator Manchin. He was actively engaged. This was the bill he agreed to. So much of this have already been whittled down. But let's understand the track record of this administration. When they put a priority on COVID release, they passed a massive passage, and he had the necessary support to bring across the finish line. We passed a historic infrastructure bill. It was not whittled down. It was right-sized to something that could be passed, and they did it aggressively. We're only stating for these pieces of legislation, now let's get it passed. We've already negotiated. The bills have been whittled down. We should not be trying to move the line backwards on our democracy. We should be trying to advance the line on our democracy. And then even with Build Back Better, that bill isn't dead. The negotiations are going on, but we're saying to the Senate, to the president, that voting right protections must be the priority, not a priority. And let's get it passed. This administration have had a successful track record when they put their mind towards getting stuff passed. We're saying all arms, all energy must be to protect the rights of voters, and we can get back to Build Back Better and any other piece of legislation.
I know you said, it's not for you to tell them how to get it done. You just want them to get it done. But I'm going to ask you this question. What steps would you like to see the president and lawmakers take in regards to voting rights?
Well, the thing about legislation, much of it is negotiated behind closed doors, not in the public space. And we are looking at a president who have more experience than any other president, perhaps than Lyndon Baines Johnson, on how the Senate operates. We're asking him to bring all of his experience. We're looking at Senator Schumer to bring all their experiences to make sure we carve out a pathway so there's a bill on the president's desk for his signature. That's the most important thing, the most urgent thing that they must do from our perspective.
Derrick Johnson, thank you very much.
Thank you.